The two plumber brothers, Mario and Luigi. They saved the Mushroom Kingdom multiple times and are real heroes. And then there's the one who lives in infamy. He looks like them, but is not one of them. The anti-hero Wario. Now this guy is a bit odd. So let's take a look at how he was created and how he changed in terms of story, gameplay, use and design throughout the years. Wario is an obese, muscular, hot-tempered and greedy man, and Mario's yellow and purple clad arch-rival. He usually appears as an antagonist or in some cases an anti-hero. Now the creation of this character was quite special, since Wario is pretty different from all the others. It all started around 1992. The idea to introduce Wario as a new character originated during the development of Super Mario Land 2's 6 Golden Coins. The staff team aimed for a change of pace, and not to be bound by the ideas which were constantly used in Mario games leading up to that point. They desired to provide Mario with a new objective. Rather than having Mario fight for the benefit of someone else, such as Princess Daisy or Princess Peach, the staff wanted Mario to win back something of his own. So Wario was actually a character that changed the objective for once, and we didn't even see Princess Peach or Daisy in this game. This was the first time ever that Mario had to defend something that he owned, which was an interesting twist. It was initially director Hijiro Kyotake's idea to introduce Wario as a new character, which would fit this change in objective. Although several rejected characters were presented earlier which no one took a liking to. Before any character development, Wario's name was the first thing that was decided on, being derived from the Japanese word WARIO, meaning bad. Wario's physical design and personality was based on the idea that the protagonist should have an arch-rival and nemesis. Kiyotake stated that Wario's relationship to Mario was inspired by the American comic book characters Popeye and Bluto. Bluto is physically well-built, motivated by self-interests, and more cunning than his counterpart Popeye. Kiyotake subsequently discussed this idea with his assistant character designer and co-director, Takehiko Hosokawa, with whom Kiyotake normally sought approval from before presenting any ideas to the rest of the game's staff. To Kiyotake's surprise, the idea to flip the M seen on Mario's cap to create a W received extremely enthusiastic support by the rest of the staff. Wario went on to become the game's main antagonist by taking over Mario's castle, which met the staff's initial vision of derivating from the conventional objectives established by previous Mario games. So initially, Wario brought something new in terms of plot to the Super Mario series. Mario had an evil counterpart now. Someone who was the opposite of him, and they built the character around this idea. Wario was the other version of Mario. And this entire idea came from Popeye. And so you see that a lot of pop culture is actually based on other stories and characters. Chronologically, Wario's first appearance was in Yoshi's Island DS. As a child, Wario was prone to tantrums and already had an interest for riches. Like all the other children of the Mushroom Kingdom, he was kidnapped by Kamek and a time-traveling Bowser from the future, who were in search of the Star Children, 7 legendary babies of unknown power, of which Baby Wario was a member. However, he escaped the Koopa's clutches and instead joined Yoshi and his friends, helping them for a brief moment of time by using his oversized magnet to attract coins and other metal objects. He eventually parted ways with the Yoshis to join a coven of bandits, only to re-emerge in the game's final hours. Baby Wario was last seen in the ending arguing with Baby Bowser over a barge full of coins. It is uncertain if he was ever returned to his parents. We only saw that a stork adopted him. So you can actually see from the very beginning that it was in Wario's nature to be a bit greedy and selfish. It's all he works towards, even as a baby. And apparently he's also one of the special Star Children, just like Mario and Peach. This means that he possesses, as Kamek puts it in Yoshi's Island DS, an extraordinary amount of power. So he actually has a big role in the story and series, since he's just as powerful as Mario and Luigi. But what happened next? Well, Wario made a return, and he was going after Mario this time. The first game where we see him is Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins. Driven by a lifetime of jealousy, the adult Wario sought to take over Mario's castle in the country of Mario Land. He attempted to do so many times, but was always defeated, until he stumbled upon a proper distraction. While Mario was away saving Princess Daisy from the clutches of Tatanga and Sarasa Land during the events of Super Mario Land, Wario took over. He hypnotized the citizens of Mario Land with a magic spell and scattered the 6 golden coins, the keys to the castle, across Mario Land. Wario awaits Mario at the top of his newly minted Wario's castle, until the plumber arrives for a showdown in his former throne room. So his initial motive is jealousy, probably because of Mario's castle and a huge piece of land. This fits with Wario's greedy nature. But Wario was also jealous because Mario was more popular than him, and this already started since their childhood. This was stated in the official magazine of Nintendo called Nintendo Power. Besides this, it's a great excuse to explore some of Mario's own land, and see what Mario actually owns and where he lives, since this was never really shown in any of the games. After this, Wario just vanished. We didn't see him in the main series for quite a while, which is pretty weird, since people actually loved the game. The official Nintendo magazine ranked Super Mario Land 2 44th on their list of the 100 greatest Nintendo games. And also, Nintendo Power listed it as the 7th best Game Boy game, praising it for its improvements over Super Mario Land and for having impressive visuals for a handheld game. So there was no reason to not make a second game with this type of setting and this villain. Their experiment worked, but they didn't really do anything with it. We saw a spin-off game with Toad as the main character and Wario as the villain. This was some sort of puzzle game. The game had such a vague and weird story that it didn't really make sense. So this is not really a sequel to the previous game. But this changed later on, since they actually did do something with Wario. They made something separate out of it. Wario got his own series in the style of 6 golden coins. And they expanded on the Mario and Wario rivalry by creating a comic book series centered around them in Nintendo Power, which tells more about the background story of Mario and Wario, for example when they were kids. They explain the origin of Wario's hatred towards Mario. Apparently he bullied him when they were little. Well, that's Wario's interpretation at least. They also made a comic with Mario and Wario in the Club Nintendo magazine, but we also saw loads of other characters like Mega Man and Dr. Light in this comic. Now let's take a look at the first game in Wario's own series, Wario Land Super Mario Land 3. This is a direct sequel to the previous game. Following his defeat at the hands of Mario in Super Mario Land 2 6 golden coins, Wario does not give up on his aspirations to one day have a castle of his own, leading to a whole new treasure hunting career. Wario learns that the brown sugar pirates led by the fearsome Captain Syrup, operating off Kitchen Island, had stolen a massive golden statue of Princess Toadstool. With Mario already hunting for the statue, Wario saw an irresistible opportunity to show up his old rival. If he could find the statue before the plumber, then Princess Toadstool's ransom combined with the plunder of the brown sugar pirates would give him enough money to buy a castle. An even bigger and better one than Mario's. However, Wario's main objective, the golden statue of Princess Peach, gets reclaimed by Mario in the end. Fortunately for Wario, the genie he freed from Captain Syrup is so grateful that he gives Wario his own pad, which materializes as anything from a birdhouse to an entire planet. This is based on how much treasure Wario has collected throughout the game, which is a fun way of creating multiple endings. It gives you a reason to get all the treasures and coins, since the planet is pretty epic to be honest. Just look at it!
Have a rotten day!
So essentially the plot of doing something for yourself and not for others was a big piece of Wario's game. Mario went back to helping others without gaining anything, and they turned Wario into a selfish person who only helps someone if he gains anything from it. And apparently people liked Wario in Super Mario Land 2 6 golden coins a lot, since he was popular enough to get a separate series inspired by both. The game ended up selling over 5 million copies, which is actually surprisingly good. It sold more copies than Kirby's Dream Land. And in later spin-off games, they expanded even more with multiple endings, power-ups and transformations for Wario, and new attacks like picking people up and throwing them. Besides this, Captain Syrup also made a return, becoming his main enemy in the Wario platformer spin-off games. In his games, he is always looking for treasure or any other form of riches. Wario is a character driven by his own greed. This sometimes makes him a hero, and other times makes him a villain. So these spin-off games with Wario as the main character were a success. But there's one problem. Only the first game of the Wario Land series performed really well, and the others, not so much. This goes for the Wario Land series and his WarioWare series, which were party puzzle games. None of the games came above the 3 million sales mark, and there were a lot that didn't even reach 1 million, which is low for a company like Nintendo. So the Wario spin-off games were a one-hit wonder. Only the first one had extremely good sales figures, and the others had decent sales at best. But we did see him in loads of spin-off games throughout the years, like Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros, and more. So as you can see, Wario is actually some sort of the opposite of Mario, and came into existence because they wanted to try something different. As time went on, he became a character of his own, with his own story, character, and games. Well, hello there, welcome to the end screen. Be sure to check your subscribe button, since YouTube automatically unsubscribes nowadays. Yeah, I know. So yeah, keep that in mind and hit that like button. H3H3 video, look it up.